Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hearthstone. So we need to play 30 hunter cards, which won't be difficult at all. And we need to cover several other things. So we might as well play on ranked. As we're doing this, we'll play... Should we play secrets or beasts? Let's play secrets. I think secrets has more hunter cards actually, slightly. But... So, the big ticket thing to talk about here on my list, and I'm surprised I've been able to get 3 recordings already. This is the 3rd recording already of this. The former Grand Theft Auto producer, Leslie Berzias, I hope I pronounced that right, has a new game called Everywhere that is powered by Amazon Lumberyard, and it kind of sounds like Second Life, for as little as has been said about it. He said like one sentence where, I want to make a world where people can entertain each other and we can accommodate that. And so it seems almost like from the beginning, it seems like something where he doesn't want to be the content creator as much as the facilitator so other people can create content. And this is not working, is it? Come on. Either give me a disconnect or give up. I'm probably going to end up exiting the whole thing. I'm not uploading. There we go. That's what I figured was going to happen. Let's hop back in. So, on that aspect, Everywhere sounds
Hurry in before
like
someone steals your seat.
not a great game in the first place, but we have to wait a long time, I imagine, to do that, to make a better determination there. The more interesting thing, though, is that this guy has had quite a journey, and maybe he's almost certainly he's done some dirty stuff, and he's had some dirty stuff done to him. So I bet nobody's hands are clean on this, but he left Rockstar, creators of and owners of GTA, and he left them. And then a month later, he sued them for $150 million, saying that that they had screwed him out of kind of possession and control of the company, and I believe stock shares of the company. And it seems very much from his accusations that this might very well be the case. According to his lawsuit, he was enticed to take a sabbatical, so he was on sabbatical for a long time, and when he came back to work, he found that his office locks had been changed and he'd been locked out of the office. And so this clearly shows an example of maybe he's just playing it up for the lawsuit he knew was going to happen, but to me, it seems like a real example of they asked him to go on sabbatical and hoped he would quit. When he didn't quit, he clearly came back to work and attempted to continue his job after the sabbatical. And all the meantime, while he was on sabbatical, I wouldn't be surprised if they were intentionally, like, making more efforts to push him out of the company. It seems like, from what I can tell, Rockstar had 3 people kind of at parallel equal shares, and that's just no way to run a company, honestly. Sadly, the truth is there can only be one king of a kingdom. There needs to be one person in charge for the better or worse. If you start doing what you may see on like what is that show? Dragon's Den, and then there's another one that's let's see, we'll play this, and then we'll attack here, and attack here. There's Dragon's Den and something else in America that I don't think it's called Dragon's Den, but whatever. When you start doing things like that, where they say, I'll give you $1 million for 51% of your company, or they say, I'll give you $1 million for even like 10% of your company. All of that is just dealing around. Well, they know you're going to need more money eventually, and so they're buttering you up to eventually take complete control of the company. And sometimes on Dragon's Den, they're totally honest about it. It's like, I want 100% of your company. I just want to own it. I want you to work for it. And honestly, that's the best deal that you could probably do. I mean, because if they own even like 10% of your company, but they have enough control that they can force your company into failing, they're still gonna come back in bankruptcy and try to claim more of it. So like, once you start selling your parts of your company, you're selling your soul. And inherently, that's what big corporations are, aren't they? They sell stocks, which are parts of their company, whether it's voting preferred stock or non-voting common stock, and they're selling parts of their soul. And almost in some weird magical connection, corporations that do sell stocks then become so focused at the bottom line and making profit that they do become these soulless beings that just want more money, more money, more money. You can't have a moderate amount of profit and have all the employees happy and taken care of. No, you've got to screw over the employees and steal from the pension and raise the prices on all your customers and make everybody hate you totally just to get more money that one quarter. And it's, I guess, a great thing that Valve is an independent, is not a public company. Otherwise, although arguably, Valve, if it was a public company, might actually make some games every now and then. But they would totally screw over people on Steam. They would make it a much worse service. They might make more games, but they probably wouldn't be good games. At the very least, you can say right now, Valve doesn't release bad games. They're standing by a history of good games. That didn't do anything. But, yeah. So, to get back to this guy, though, so he feels like he very much got screwed out of his company from naivety. He was literally told, you don't need to be on these negotiations. We'll take care of you. Like, they totally were pushing him out of it. He was very naive, and I could totally see a video game creator being naive. While the other two were acting more business-like and very well may not have anything to do with this. So, when we look at it from that perspective, you kind of think about Rockstar. What is Rockstar doing? Well, I think Rockstar is doing another Red Dead game. So it won't be Red Dead Redemption 2, I don't believe. Because the first one was Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption. And Rockstar never really puts any of those on PC. Are they going to really have another Grand Theft Auto game? Maybe, maybe not, because there is also the issue of, like, the other games have taken a lot of the elements of Grand Theft Auto and done them better. The Saints Row series of games is a more fun, better version of Grand Theft Auto. The Crackdown games are a more fun, better version of Grand Theft Auto for a different reason, because one is Saint Row's. Well, I guess they're both the similar reasons. It's just, do you want to play as a good guy or somewhat good guy police officer, or do you want to play as a gangster? So I'm not sure that there's enough room there. I'm not sure that Rockstar really wants to make another GTA, because they have GTA Online and they can just make money off of that. They don't want to make PC versions of the Red Dead games, so that irritates me personally, because I can't ever play the game. And that irritates a lot of their fan base for the same reason. And what else could they make? GTA has caused the hot coffee mess, which hurt the video game industry. GTA got sued by Lindsay Lohan for using her likeness, and I think that lawsuit is finally settled, and they're right into another lawsuit. Rockstar, I believe, at one point was sued by Rockstar Energy Drink, maybe? I could be wrong about that one. I could be totally wrong about that one. That I may have dreamed that whole thing up, but or maybe they did a collaboration with Rockstar Energy Drink. It could be either way. But I don't really hear anything on the future path of Rockstar, nor should I really trust that the Rockstar that's left is the good group of Rockstar people. GTA in itself is, I mean, GTA 3 and 4 are probably worth playing. GTA 1 and 2, completely different games, possibly made by a completely different thing. I need to do more research here, honestly. I also would argue that the universe in the world is just not not the same as it was when GTA 4 came out and GTA 3. I just don't think we want rampant, crazy violence anymore in games. I think we've moved over. I'd much rather play Witcher 3 than Grand Theft Auto and then similar things. I'd kind of even want to prefer to play play something like I'd prefer to play something like Witcher 3 or Watch Dogs 2. Any open world game that has a better story than just being a gangster running around. It's kind of like Quentin Tarantino movies in a lot of ways. I recently heard somebody talking about those movies and saying, you know, like the first one that he made was groundbreaking, but after that you're kind of getting into just violence for violence sake and cussing for cussing's sake, and it doesn't appeal to me, and I think it's appealing to less and less of the world in general. We get too much of that on the news these days. So, like I said, for a different story, last recording, this is just the beginning of the story. We're gonna probably see this lawsuit get dragged out. There are several lawsuits in the video game industry going on right now, and it's definitely an interesting thing. But I'm interested to see more about Everywhere, but I suspect it's just at the beginning. it is also worth mentioning Amazon Lumberyard, which is kind of the next evolution made by Amazon of the Crysis engine, which that in itself is kind of weird that Crysis and Crytek seems to be going out of business, and Amazon is trying to get into the video game industry. Give a random beast in your hand +2/+2. Fine. We'll do that. And then attack. I'd like to win here. Can I win? Let's see. We've got a couple things to talk about as far as Hideo Kojima. He made a big splash on Twitter showing off his office and showing off his new office for his new company, and saying that he believes games and films will merge. Now, with the Avengers project announced like the day after that, you almost have a great argument that, yeah, he was right. And certainly for Hideo Kojima, the maker of the Metal Gear Solid series, which are more cutscene than games sometimes, that is true. For him, absolutely. And for a lot of games, there's cutscenes are going to start to be more useful than the. You got me with Leroy Jenkins. There we go. For him in particular, yeah, I could see how it's gonna merge, because he just wants to show scenes and he doesn't seem to really care too much about gameplay. I'm not really sure. Let's just play beasts here. I'm just gonna play a little ranked while I close up this recording. And we went 3 recordings here. We could do an arena run certainly, but I can't afford it because we got 40, 80, 120 gold from the 3 quests here, and I spent 100 gold for the arena run. I can't every 3 days only make 20 gold in progress. That I would be nowhere close to the 5,000 I would like for the next expansion if I did that. But next 3 days I think we probably will do an arena run if everything works out. I guess I shouldn't make promises, but that's my thought at least. Yeah. Hideo Kojima, I think, in a long ways, really needs a partner to make more gameplay be a higher priority. I'm not saying I didn't play Metal Gear Solid 5, and I'm not saying the gameplay in it is bad, but I do know that series is kind of just around first-person shooting and stealth mechanics, and a lot of mechanics on top of that complicate the issue a little bit, but not really that much. If, as a video game industry, people can't improve above old-fashioned shooting and stealth mechanics, then you're right. He is totally right. Then there's... I don't think I've ever seen this place before. Is this new site art? Or have I just never paid attention? But yeah, he is totally right. If we can't improve at all, then yeah, the whole video game industry is doomed.
Can I light your fire?
But I just don't believe that's the case. Is this Gadget Stand? This must be Gadget Stand. Yep, this is the different cabals. All 3 of them. So the difference, though, I think, is when you start to look at things like Mirror's Edge and how groundbreaking a first-person parkour running game was. to the video game industry. When you start to look at things like The Witness, which is groundbreaking in the way of thinking about certain things, at the very least, even if I have some problems with the game in general. Let's see. Let's go ahead and kill this. I don't fully agree that movies and video games will merge. That is also a terrifying statement, in the thought that the video game industry would be polluted with the nearly 100% toxic movie industry, because there's really nothing good you can get from the movie industry. I don't want actors trying to be voice actors in video games. We've seen that happen. It doesn't work. Patrick Stewart tries it every now and then. It doesn't really give me what I would want. I don't want crazy people in it. I don't want Charlie Sheen showing up. Although he's a TV actor. I don't want Mel Gibson showing up. I don't want any of the controversial people in the movie industry. I don't want the good-looking people in the video game industry, because their talents are wasted. If in that case, I mean, what's the point of seeing like Harrison Ford in video game mocap or in a game? Harrison Ford should be on the theaters playing Indiana Jones or Han Solo. So I definitely don't want to see those two industries merge for the actors and that. But then when you start to think about the total people that just are, I mean, you can't say, it's harsh to say, but they're just garbage as far as the higher ups in movie industries. The whole movie industry is mostly based on nepotism. People will get roles because they're related to each other, and then they change their last names so it's not so obvious. That's why Nicolas Cage gets any movie roles at all, is because he's the nephew of Martin Scorsese, I believe is who he's nephew to. So it just is nepotism and idiocy. We've seen a torrent of bad movies that got greenlit that everybody had to rewrite and write to put their little touch on it. I want this actress, I want this actor, I want this line, I want this, and it just becomes this horrible mix mash of terrible movies, and we've seen way too many of those, and we don't need that in the video game industry. Already the video game industry, unless you're talking independent games that are run by one person, after it takes a minute, also hits the enemy hero. I should have played these two backwards.
I don't have enough mana.
You already have things like Eidos Montreal, for instance, that has a big company above them called Eidos that's forcing them to change Deus Ex Mankind Divided and add breach mode and add pre-order and add all the bad elements, it seems, that they didn't want to add. The last thing is we need more of that. We wanted the art to be pure, and pure art comes from collaboration of a few artists at most, and usually just one person. And this, in a lot of ways, Hideo Kojima is going to screw himself over more than anybody if films and video games merged, because he would probably get silenced and edited so much that his artistic creation would be mellowed down and be made so mainstream, it would not look anything like what he wants it to look like. And for Hideo Kojima in particular, that would be awful, because it really would ruin this artistic vision. I guess we'll just stick here with what we've got. Yep. So, but time to move on, because I don't have enough to talk about the next thing for a whole nother recording. So this will be our last game. RAM prices are expected to go up. So by the time you get this message, it's probably too late. But
your soul shall be mine.
Let's see.
Let the hunt begin.
So that's. But like RAM for your PC, prices are expected to go up because of new cell phones buying up a lot of RAM, and I don't think there's going to be a big glut of PC purchases anytime soon. The other thought is, of course, the United States is in some political iffy things right now, and who knows what that could do with the entire industry or the entire economy. And so I don't want to focus on that too much, because by the time this video goes out, that may have all settled itself out. Otherwise, maybe not. So moving on, Double Dragon 4 is, I saw a video of that, and it looks like a really retro game. And it's, I think, intentionally supposed to look like a really retro game. And I kind of wondered looking at it, like, it totally looks like something you could sell on Steam. Anybody, any independent person that made something that looked like Double Dragon 4 and put it out on Steam, it would definitely have an audience. So I'm wondering, could this continue? Could they make a Legend of Zelda retro game that was like the very first NES Legend of Zelda game? Just top down, little sprites, retro thing on a different map? Or does it have to be 3D art style? Does it have to look a little bit better? And how much better does it have to look? Can it be a slight improvement, or can it be really NES looking and just play really well? Well, I tried to show myself on this this podcast called Night Attack / Diamond Club. The Diamond Club is what they call their group of fans. I've been listening to it for about a year, and they're big on community, and because they're big on community, there's this place on Reddit where you can post things that they'll shout out, or they can possibly shout out. So fingers crossed, none of this has happened yet, but fingers crossed they'll shout out my YouTube channel. I'll have a lot new followers. If you're a new follower, thanks for sticking with it and trying me out here. Let's see. I certainly could do with the feedback. I could certainly do with the increase in viewership. So I'm trying something different there, and sure, I'm totally shilling myself. That's what I was doing, and hopefully it worked. If it didn't work, oh well. Still, in general, trying to show yourself on Reddit doesn't work, and I haven't really tried. I haven't tried to be active in the Reddit community at all because of it. Twitter seems to work a little bit better just in general, and it gets me a bunch of maybe not real people, but at least a bunch of fake accounts following me. And I think Twitter works a little bit better, but it doesn't get me in front of the eyes of thousands of people like Reddit might be able to do. but then their anti-shill policy in general on Reddit says you really can't do that, so other people would have to shill me on Reddit to get me to like the front page, and I don't think I deserve to be anywhere near the front page yet. Even if I just doubled my subscribers to 200, that is gonna be a real kick in the pants as far as just now I've got to step it up. Now I got to do a good job. And right now in my channel, I'm not really stepping it up. I'm kind of making the series go longer and covering Skyrim, which is taking up a lot of time, and covering games, Lego games that are lagging, which is no fun. And I made right now, as of recording, Regency Solitaire is coming out, and that was a series I pushed and I pushed that like 2 or 3 times, and finally just said I have to get this out because I spent the effort on it. Mario Sports Superstars for the 3DS is coming out in March 2017. That's more than likely the last Nintendo first party game to ever come out for the 3DS, but they're not going to say that. So March probably is the end of the 3DS in general, and it's all going to be switched from there. Moving on, Hitman's getting a professional difficulty, which is an interesting concept because they certainly are experimenting here with a delayed challenge mode that you didn't get until a year after playing if you've been playing since it first came out, and delayed levels and delayed rewards for the professional difficulty. So I'm not sure most players are going to be fans of that though. And Gears of War 4 now has crossplay. They did a beta, it worked, so now it's permanent with crossplay, so you can play it on Xbox One and PC. And Ni no Kuni 2 from Studio Ghibli is coming to PC, which maybe I'll play it. It's still a JRPG, but it's a kid-friendly JRPG, so that might work. Although the first one was a PlayStation 3 exclusive, which means that I am really just going to have to jump in the middle of a story there. And with that, I rushed through the rest of the things I needed to talk about, and maybe I could have stretched and done another recording, but we didn't have anything as far as quests to do. Let me know how my shilling on Night Attack works. If it did work. We'll see. Maybe they won't. Maybe it'll just work in the opposite way. Maybe I'll lose subscribers. Anywho, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.